Good evening, everybody. ChinaMrsJones. I am introducing citizens of Gotham's channel. Please click the link in the description. Go like and subscribe and turn on his notifications. Let's talk about masks. Let's see his thoughts on the mask. Let's see how dangerous it can be just by wearing it and or not. The epidemic has gone worldwide and is out of hand. Please go like.
It still seems to be rare that an asymptomatic person actually transmits onward to a secondary individual. From the data we have, it still seems to be rare that an asymptomatic person actually transmits onward to a secondary individual.
Doctor, I believe the headline from the World Health Organization is asymptomatic people are not infectious. They're not going to spread the disease. Is that what the WHO is saying?
Yes. That's correct, Greg. Look, you and I have been going at this since February of this year. We've covered more than hundreds of these segments on Newsmax TV. The most important segment about what we're going to be talking about COVID is probably tonight, because they're taking a 360-degree turn, and WHO is announcing, and this is a big news, that asymptomatic people out there are not contagious. Remember, because we didn't know who would be passing this virus or not, we made everybody do something called social distancing. This is a new word that you've heard of it, and it came to our life a few months ago. We made everybody across the board to wear masks. At the beginning, we said if you have symptoms, you wear the mask to protect others, and then we gave in because CDC and everybody kept changing back and forth. We also made everybody to go for testing. We need 300 million tests the next day, or else we cannot reopen our country. This is very important. It's a breaking news that if you are not symptomatic and you don't have any symptoms of fever, chills, shortness of breath, or any of those symptoms we've spoken about, the risk of passing it on to other people and being contagious is very rare.
Playing here straight. I have one surgical face mask here between the two of us, between me and Tom. He's sick, I'm not. Who should get the mask? Well, your natural instinct is to say, give me that mask. I don't want to catch what he has, but I should be begging him to wear it, because him, the sick person wearing it, better protects me, the healthy person, as if I were wearing it myself. So all these masks are floating around out there. Which ones do health officials say you should use? None of them. But not all masks are created equal, and the surgical face masks that many people are turning to for protection from coronavirus likely won't protect you, according to health officials. These types of masks instead are recommended for people who are already sick, because they're designed to prevent a person from spreading germs from sneezing and coughing. But there's another type of mask called an N95 or respirator mask, which the FDA says has a very efficient filtration, keeping out 95% of airborne particles. But health officials only recommend these for healthcare professionals who are in constant contact with sick patients.
I think people see a mask and they see an illusion of protection, that if they put the mask on, it'll somehow block viruses from getting into their mouth or nose when they breathe. That's just not the case. Anyone who does not have a respiratory illness, meaning a cough or sneezing, should not be wearing any type of mask, whether it's a surgical mask or a respirator.
And believe it or not, by wearing a mask, you could be putting yourself at even more risk.
People do not use their masks correctly. They play with it. They wear it too long. They rub their nose underneath it.
You hear that, folks? You could be making it worse by wearing a mask, putting yourself at greater risk, because what do you do all day? You're doing exactly what they tell you not to do. You're touching your face all day and getting sick.
Viral particles, coronavirus and influenza, to name two, go right through that mask. Okay, so if you say, well, then why is it helpful in preventing this way? Because people coughing, sneezing, spewing large particles out into the room, of course that's a barrier, but they can go right in. That's why they're not helpful. What I want to show you guys is these N95 respirators. There are a bunch of different styles. These are what we use in hospital settings for healthcare providers. They have to be measured for your face. I went through this process. It took several attempts, different sizes, different models, to actually find the one that works for me. They have to be put on properly. You see the two elastic bands there. One has to be high on the head, one has to be around the neck. We're seeing people wear these incorrectly. These are not for lay public.
best efforts, it will be very hard to get in front of this story. For those that don't know about this case definition, who don't understand it, when they see these dramatic increases in numbers, they're going to be inclined to think either that we've hit some different spike, and now, quite frankly, we have this new pandemic raging through the community, which is a false narrative. That's not at all what that is sharing with us. Which is a false narrative. That's not at all what that is sharing with us and communicating to us. Or they're going to be inclined to think, well, we weren't doing an honest job with the numbers prior.
That explains the contradictions. And you mentioned earlier about, and it's a very important point, about the social distancing and go there, don't go there, do this, don't do that. What happens is, if you go through a city about your normal business for a day and just note how many times you are told to do something or not do something, and even then it was a lot of times. Now you increase it 1,000-fold and more, and almost every minute you're being told to do this or not do this, go here, don't go there, etc. And what it's doing, it's pressuring people into acquiescence, so people become just docile responders to impulse and input without question and without resistance. And if you want to turn adults when they want this absolutely full-blown, turn adults into acquiescing, unquestioning, yes sir, no sir people, you get them young, you get them at the earliest possible age. So now we're seeing children's lives being totally transformed with this do this, don't do this. I mean, they've just opened kids football, kids soccer as you call it in America, in Britain, or they're just starting to.